Hello.
Hello.
I'm here. I didn't know I would be on the screen so quickly, but hello, Sandie.
Hello, and welcome to No Icing with Dritta.
Wunderbar. So good to be here. Tonight, of course, I'm so excited to be here because your guest is the fabulous LindaRose, who is the star, the co-star of the Tardon Media show Orchid Times with Lily May and her. And she's an absolute superstar. She's so inspiring. There's Lily May in the comments right now. And I just want to definitely encourage everybody to go back and watch the archives of season 1. They've already wrapped season 1, but you can find that on Tardon Media, Tardan Media, YouTube. And I mean, they've gotten over like 10,000 views just on one video alone. So if you haven't seen any of their episodes yet, you're missing out, because every time I watch one of their shows, to be truly honest, I learn something new and I am motivated. So I'm really looking forward to seeing LindaRose here tonight. Yay! There she is!
How's everybody doing?
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very well, thank you. I'm having a little bit of internet connection issue, but I'm so happy you're here. We've been waiting for months for you to be on No Icing. So thank you.
It's been a very anticipated episode. I'm very excited for today.
It really is wonderful. And you look so beautiful and gorgeous, just as always. And you have such poise. You're a very confident person and a very compassionate person. And I think that energy is really a big part of your success. How do you get that centeredness and that calm, LindaRose, particularly at your age? I mean, let everyone know your age, first of all. I think they'll be
14.
surprised.
I'm 14. I turned 15 in 2 months.
Wow. And so how do you stay so confident and centered? Because I know at that age, or even at my own age, it's hard for me to feel that or to be like that.
Yeah, I think a lot of it comes from my past, with the certain family issues, struggling with anxiety and depression. I think a lot of it comes from that. And also, I think a lot of it also comes from my best friend, Haley. We've known each other for almost 9 years now, in kindergarten, and we are complete opposites, and she holds me accountable, and I think she's the one that kind of started how I'm so confident now. I think a lot of it's from her, because she never lets me talk bad about myself or anything like that. So I think a lot of it's from her.
Awesome. I know that having a close friend is so important, particularly when you're younger, but it really, a good friend, even when you're young or older, can be such a lifesaver and can really influence who you are as a person. And I know people say you can tell a lot about someone by who they choose as their friends. So it's so cool that you have Haley to be someone who can really motivate you and hold you accountable, maybe, I'm guessing, and help you learn new things along your life journey. So congratulations. Not everybody is lucky enough to have a really good friend like that. So
yeah, I think it's also because now, especially with COVID and everything the past few years, it's harder for people to find therapists, or a psychologist. And me and my dad have struggled to find ones. So my best friend Haley was kind of, I mean, she kind of is my therapist at this point,
Mm-hmm.
because we've I don't think we've gone a day since like last year without FaceTiming or talking to each other.
Wow.
So we're just like, we are two peas in a pod. We're inseparable. It's ridiculous.
That is so cool. What does she think about your work on Orchid Times?
She's not a fan of TV at all.
Mm-hmm.
She prefers like the short videos on TikTok, but
Mm-hmm.
she watches my show quite a lot actually. She always watches the replays because she's usually asleep when it goes on, because she sleeps all the time, very much like me. So um she loves it. She was like one of my biggest supporters when I told her about it, and she has been nothing but like supportive. And she's when I first started like coming on live and everything, I used to shake so bad during live, and I had to learn like I had to learn how to control it so it didn't look like I was shaking, but my legs would non-stop shake and it was so bad. So
Mm-hmm.
she'd FaceTime me before every single one of my shows going live to try and calm me down first. So she's been like my biggest supporter ever since it started.
Wow. That's awesome. Sandie, is your sound fixed, Sandie?
You want me to let me? I'm gonna try to go out and come back in. Like, want to see if that helps?
Okay, yeah, let's see if that helps. Yeah,
Okay.
Sandy's having a little bit of some tech gremlins, and it's cool because the Orchid Times girls have been the ones to really teach us about like staying so
Yes.
calm when things don't go as planned. And I think we talked a little bit about that on an Orchid Times episode that I was on. But LindaRose, do you want to talk a little bit about how you hold your serenity and calm when things around you are kind of falling apart? Not just tech gremlins, but real issues. I know you've had some struggles in your life, and a lot of people listening right now have had similar struggles. How do you keep your sense of identity and power?
Most of it's actually reading books, um, and writing as well, but mostly reading. I've been a big book nerd ever since I was really, really little, and when I read, I'm in a different place. I'm not worried about anything else. I'm into the book and not really into the rest of what's going on around me. So reading is something that's helped me for so long, because I'm not I'm in a different place when I'm reading. I'm not actually.
Mhm.
I feel like I'm not even in the real world. I'm in a different place. So that reading
Yeah.
definitely has been something that's helped me so much.
Uh, Linda Rose, let me ask you about, because I know you are really big in that vein, into poetry. How did you first get steered into it? Because for those of you who don't know, the accolades that people throw toward me should be given fivefold to Linda Rose. She is a fantastic poet. Who or what steered you into that line?
Well, we started a poetry unit in my ELA class last year, but before that, my grandmother homeschooled me during COVID, and she did a poetry. She gave me a poetry unit during that time.
Wow.
And I never started write. I only wrote it because I had to at the time, but I loved reading it. And then I was introduced to Tardon Media and Cosmos, and the lovely Jon Phipps was the one that actually motivated me to start writing poetry, which was like John. You were like the person that like started
Oh.
got me into writing it instead of just reading it all the time,
Mhm.
because that's
And
all I did. I just read it. I wrote it for school because I had to, but I never like actually enjoyed writing it or anything until I started reading your poetry and everything like that. It was just kind of motivated me to actually start writing, which was a big thing for me because now poetry is one of my favorite things to do.
that compliment still flips me, because I Renee or Sandy or whoever, well, I'll send a poem to them and they'll just absolutely love it. But to hear someone like you take it further and say you were influenced and inspired by it, wow, it's just a powerful thing that I didn't think I would ever hear from someone.
Yeah, I think I loved reading poetry, but your poetry is very real, and I have a problem with, it's always been a pet peeve of mine when people sugarcoat things. It's not something I enjoy when people do it, because I like, I'm a very real person. So I like, I don't want things to be sugarcoated. Obviously there's a time where they should be sugarcoated, but after, I like the truth. Truth is honestly is one of my favorite things. And I feel like your poetry is honest, and it's not a sugarcoating thing, which I love, because I do not like when people sugarcoat things. It's not my favorite thing in the world at all. I hate it. I like honesty, and your poetry is very honest.
Thank you. Talk a little bit about your poetic process. What goes into what you write?
Well, a lot of my poems were actually songs I wrote that didn't go well with, like, I couldn't figure out, like, I had a melody for it, but it didn't go well with the melody I had, and I couldn't come up with another thing, so I ended up turning them into a poem. My favorite poem I've ever written, which is Breath, that one I wrote in the middle of a panic attack, which was just me jotting down ideas, just because I couldn't even, like, I wasn't thinking straight, so I was just writing, like, basically just crazy writing. And so my process is all over the place. It's not like one certain thing. It depends on how I'm feeling that day, or what I come across in old journals or anything like that. I have a diary. I have so many of them actually, and I write in them all the time. And sometimes I'll be reading an old thing that I wrote one night, and I will think to myself, like, maybe this could be like a poem. This could turn into a poem. So I try to turn it into a poem. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes I end up turning it into a song. So it's kind of all over the place. It kind of depends on what I find, what I read, how I'm feeling that day. Sometimes inspiration from music. It's not like one certain thing.
Mm-hmm. Which leads me to a question for all three of you in that regard, because I know all three of you are songwriters. Have you ever had any poem ideas that transformed into songs, or vice versa?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm very self conscious when it comes to my songs. One of my biggest I have MM, who's Orchid Times editor, is also my grandmother. Uh, I will give her a song or a poem, and I will tell her to be as brutal as possible in critiquing it, because she is amazing with kind of helps me with some of the poems if I'm having a hard time. She is amazing, and she's like, whenever I have a poem and I'm not sure about it, or a song and I'm not sure about it, I give it to her and I tell her to be as brutal as possible with me about it, because she's really good at like critiquing it and making it better. So yeah, but it's a song usually turns into a poem if it doesn't sound right with what I want it to sound. So yeah.
Sandie, Renee, you have anything for LindaRose?
I think I use my poems. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Definitely,
We
I
can.
take a chunk. I'll have a poem, take a chunk, and then turn that somehow into a song later.
Yeah, and I've had similar situations where, maybe the same concept really sticks with me and I end up writing poems about it and songs about it. They're very different media. And so I feel like sometimes I can express myself in different ways depending on if it's poetry or a short story or a song, something like that. And I'm not a visual artist, but I know like Sandie Dee, she also is a visual artist too. So
And you know
Yeah,
what, Renee?
yes. Yes, Sandie.
Guess who's the youngest guest that's ever been on No Icing?
I know who it is. Da 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 da. There she is.
LindaRose. You're the
Until
youngest guest that's ever been on No Icing. I'm so happy to have
until
you.
we get Willow on here, and that
Yeah.
will be coming in the future.
Yes, that's
it
right.
needs to happen. Willow is amazing.
Yes, she
So
is.
amazing.
She's
She's a
Yeah.
chip off the old block for sure. Shouts to
Mhm.
Willow. Shouts to Jamie if she's watching.
And Lily May is doing a shout out to the underwear poem.
The dreaded
Which is,
underwear poem.
Underwears. Yes, underwear.
Which I have
It's
not read on a stream, by the way, and won't
is a
until you pay
very
me
great
$500,000.
And I love Purple Shampoo too, which is a
Yes.
song that she has, which is so cool.
Thank you.
So
Yeah, I just write those for my kids. I start just singing to them around the house, and then I'm like, I should write this down one day, you know?
Yeah.
Linda
I
Rose,
have one more question before I go, and then I'll turn it back over to you. But I wanted to ask, LindaRose, what are your ambitions lifelong as you see them now? I know that you're so young; it's so hard to really do that. But what would you like? What would be exciting if you met like 45-year-old LindaRose? What do you hope she would have accomplished?
Well, I want to go. I want to get into my dream college, which is Purdue University in Indiana. It's been my dream college for so many years. I want to be an FBI profiling agent or a journalist. So, but profiling has been my biggest one for so long, mainly because I just want to help people. It's something I've always wanted to do, and I hope we're still going strong with poetry because that's been something I've loved for so long since I started Cosmos and Tardon. So I really hope we're still going strong with that. But hope I'm graduated and doing my dream job that I've always wanted to do. I hope is what happens there. I also hope I have a dog. I need that.
And
There,
I heard, wait, a little birdie told me that you work, I wanted to clarify this. You work at a dog sanctuary.
I do. So it's called Grammy Rose Dog Sanctuary. It's there's a second part to it, which is Wiki Ralph's Ice Cream and Mini Golf, which is where I work at. But we help our workers there at Wikis. We help with the Grammy Rose dogs, and they are we get new shipments usually Saturday, and they come from usually from Texas is the main one we get them from, and we get them from kill shelters or mainly just shelters that don't have any space left, and we turn them into we acclimate them to home life. So we have cabins that in the front of the cabin it's like an actual house. So it has a bathroom, it has washing machines, it has uh, dishwasher, like it just has everything, like with all the loud noises and everything to acclimate them to home life. And actually, we just had a dog, Ace, who was a big pit bull, who was, unfortunately, he was like raised to be a dog fighter. So he was raised he was trained to fight other dogs. So he doesn't get along with other dogs. He's been there for so long. He just got adopted the other day to a great family. So all of us are so happy about that because he's the sweetest thing. So it was just,
I think that's
I
like
love working there.
insurance. That's insurance for your family that you're going to make an amazing adult because I consider you a young adult right now, and you're going to make it the most amazing person on the planet. And you're going to be a great role model for when if you have your own family one day, because you're having this experience now at such a young age. You're getting to see the value of helping and the community and animals, and it's just amazing.
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
so
I
cool.
I love working there. I love dogs. Dogs are
Me
my
too.
I have two of them. One of them is a black lab. She's almost 13 now, and another one is a mastiff. His name's Dew. He's 3 years old
Yeah.
and he's the runt. He's a mastiff, but he's a runt, so he never grew once he hit like a year old. He still has his puppy face, like it never grew into like this big scary dog. He's still a puppy, and he goes through phases where he's potty trained, and then he just decides sometimes he doesn't want to be potty trained anymore, so then just stops being potty trained. It's the most annoying thing ever. But he has major separation anxiety from me. It's so bad. Like he hates when I'm gone. Like when we went to Atlanta, I came home and I was petting him and I was snuggling with him, and then he jumped off of me, sat there and growled at me with wagging his tail because he was mad at me, which is like his favorite thing to do. He just sits there and growls at you, and he's wagging his tail as in he wants you to pet him, but he's mad at you, so he doesn't want to be near you at the moment. It's
He's
interesting.
teaching you a lesson. He's like, "Don't leave me again."
It doesn't work, but he thinks it does. He thinks it's a very effective way to do things, I guess.
And also, we have another special guest, and also Renee. I don't know if you knew this, Jonathan. Did you know that LindaRose surfs? A little birdie told me she surfs.
Oh my
She
gosh,
does.
that's so exciting.
This I did not know.
So we have another guest coming. I'm going to go right now.
How is
but
there?
Another
know how's
guest
their
is
good
coming. I
surfing
want to
in
say bye,
Maine.
Jonathan. Jonathan, I'm trying to say goodbye.
Hi.
So thank you, and I
Thank
will
you,
be watching
Renee.
for the
Love
peanut
you.
gallery. I love you, LindaRose, and I think I don't know. I won't say his name, but you do have a special guest coming right now. Bye, everybody. Thank you.
See you,
Thank
Ray.
you, Renee.
And so Renee alluded to a very special guest who surfs. So we have joining
What does he
us.
serve?
Ah, I see you heard this as well. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the No Icing stage, Moondoggy.
Whoa, hey everybody, what's up? Oh man, my camera's
Shocking, bro.
yeah, man. You know, I've actually been feeling rough lately. I had the COVID for a few days,
Oh,
so but
dude.
I'm much better now. But you know, you can see I'm kind of pale in the face now. I haven't gotten out much. But good to see you. I really enjoy
You,
Linda Rose's
Moondoggy,
show, Orchid Times.
did you know you're hanging out with two surfer girls now? You got LindaRose
Yeah,
and me,
I
and
don't know why Babylicious Renee left. You know,
oh,
I was
she's a
just
babe.
I was
She's
hoping
busy.
she'd
She's a
stick
busy babe.
around, you know.
She's a busy babe.
I enjoyed talking to her. She's cool, you know. So yeah, I enjoy Orchid Times and what you and Lily do on that show. You know, you're really taking off. That's fantastic. It's great.
I
Thank
didn't
you
know
so
you were
much.
a fan, Moondoggy. You watch Orchid
Even
Time?
for old farts like me, you know.
Did you know he
We
was a
dig it
fan,
too.
Linda?
Nope. I
You
knew
didn't know you
Rory
had a fan.
Penland was a fan, but I didn't know Moondoggy was a fan. I had no
Well,
idea.
him too. I'm guessing, you know. He catches all shows on Cosmos. He tries, as do we all, you know. So when did you start surfing?
When I was really little, my cousin Jessie, she does everything active. Like she backpacked the world. She backpacked the country, I should say, which was supposed to be backpacking the world, but that didn't happen because of COVID and everything. But she ended up backpacking the country, which is really cool. And she does rock climbing and surfing and all hiking and all that stuff. So she drags me to a lot of everything, and I fell in love with surfing. And
Oh
then
yeah, she drags you.
yeah, she drags me to everything. She dragged me to climb Mount Katahdin, which I cried the whole way up because it was raining and we had to do boulder climbing to get up to the mountain, and it was raining, so the rocks were slippery. And I was really
Ooh,
high up, and I have a fear of heights, so it was not a good time for me. We're going again in a less rainy day.
It's
sounds
kind
I
of
good.
want
like
to do it again,
surfing.
but
It's kind of like
wasn't a fan
surfing.
of the rain.
You eat shrimp, and then but you're like, hey, that was fun. I'm glad I survived that wave. Let's get up and do it again.
Yeah, and then I broke my foot, fractured it a
No.
while ago, and I didn't surf. Obviously, couldn't surf on the fractured foot, and I forgot how to stand up on my board after, because I had to do a recover after it was done, like after it was healed and everything. I had to do a recovery stage because obviously when you're in the cast for so long and you
That's the
haven't been walking
worst,
on your foot,
Linda. That is the
hurts. So
worst. Like sitting on the beach and you can't surf, but you see all your friends surfing. Is that like the worst? You're like,
yeah, so I
oh,
forgot how to stand up on my
How did you
board.
break your foot? I'm curious to
Walking,
know.
walking. I literally broke it walking in
I
the
thought it
store.
was surfing.
I literally
Okay.
broke it walking in the store. Walking down the candy aisle, I broke my foot. I don't even know.
Wait, was it a slip and fall? Or are you gonna have to like call a lawyer or something?
No, I tripped over air. I tripped over absolutely nothing, just air, and I broke my
That's
foot.
the
I
funny
don't
thing.
even know.
It's
Don't
so
tell the
funny that
lawyer that.
I
you could
just
surf
I
like
don't know what
big
happened.
waves.
I was like
You
so
could surf
excited to
like
go
big
get my
waves.
candy, and I was walking and I tripped, and I tripped. I didn't even trip over my feet, which I do so much. But ever since I broke my foot, I've sprained or broken it every single year after. I haven't got. It's been like
It's a
6 years.
week.
I haven't gone a year without spraining or breaking it in the same
Sounds
exact
like a ghost is
Same
grabbing
foot.
your ankle.
right. Like
It
I
sounds
had.
like
I
the
don't even
same
know how
foot.
I broke it walking in the store. Ridiculous.
It was by the frozen food section.
It's by the candy section, and
Oh,
I was so excited to get my
candy section.
I was so excited to get my candy, and I couldn't get it because I couldn't walk on my foot. I couldn't even get it. My dad was freaking out because I was crying in the middle of the store, and my dad's an only parent, and he had no idea what to do because he thought I was overreacting, because I was one of those kids. I was one of those little kids that like try like fake being sick and everything, so I didn't have to go to school. So he didn't believe me that
I think
couldn't
we
walk
all
on
did.
it. So like he didn't believe me that I couldn't walk on it. So he was like, "Oh, you're fine. You're over dramatic." And he's like, "You're not skipping school." So I walked on it for like 3 days, and
it was
so
broken.
I was like, "Dad, it really hurts." So I went to the X-ray. It turns out it was broken. Luckily, I didn't do like
man.
any damage walking on it more. But like my dad didn't believe me, which he had every right to not believe me because I really faked breaking my foot and everything, and being sick for so long. Like I even tried to like get out of school once by pretending that the nurse told me I had to go home, thinking that she would send me home because I told her because she told, I don't even know. It was like, this is the most, my dad, like she called and I was like, she's trying to get out of school. And my dad's like, she's staying in school.
She's using reverse psychology. We're going to send her home.
I tried. It didn't work. It didn't work very well though.
Hey, did you guys know that Kelly Slater surfed Chopu with a broken foot?
I don't even know how she did that.
No.
I'm the most, when it comes to my,
He's
because I play
like the best
sports.
surfer in the world. He's like the world champ. I think he's won like, I don't know, 13.
I don't even know how someone
Again,
does
he's
that.
good. I'm not surprised, you know.
I don't
Yeah,
know how
but
someone does
surfing with a
that.
broken
Like,
foot. Jeez.
I don't know how someone does that. I'm the most dramatic person ever when it comes to because I play sports, so I'm very like I hate getting hurt because I play sports, and I hate because I know like I can't help it, but I feel like I'm like abandoning my team. You know, like in the middle of the game, I jammed both my wrists in a basketball game, which hurt so bad, and I went out to the car and I was gonna go home and I refused to go home. Like I went back out and sat out there because I feel like I'm abandoning my team. So I get so angry. So I'll pretend like I'll try to like walk it off and like be fine with
Pretend
it.
you're fine.
Like
Yeah, you have a lot of accidents, it seems.
like I'm the clumsiest person ever. It's
We
so
can,
stupid.
Dritta has some bubble wrap. She can wrap you in bubble wrap. You will be safe.
I need bubble wrap. I haven't gone a year without getting like hurt. Like it's so stupid. I absolutely hate it. It's the most annoying thing ever.
Make sure nobody's dropped Skittles in the candy aisle, you know.
Yeah, no one drops skills in the candy aisle back
Skittles.
there. It's a good idea.
So when was the last time you went out surfing?
3, 4, 5 weeks ago.
Okay, all right. So you're still in there. You're still doing it. Good.
Yeah, I mean I I sprained my foot doing it last year, but like I love surfing, so I don't think I could ever give it up. It's just something like I don't even care how hurt I am. I have to do it. So I feel like
Rub some dirt in the wounds and carry on. That's what MM's saying.
That's what my dad tells me to do. He says to rub some dirt on it and walk it off.
My stepdad was like that with me. What was I gonna say? Yeah, it sounds like you have like a little competitive streak to you, and you don't want to miss out on anything, so you're willing to, be wounded and keep going.
Yeah,
Jonathan is saying that you need to get some sponsors for Orchid Times, like bubble wrap, or maybe Bactine.
Yeah, I mean, especially since like when my puppy was like still a puppy and I sprained my ankle, that was the hardest thing I've ever had to deal with in my entire life because he like would like walk in front of me or like he likes to walk on like the side. He likes to be by my side, but I'm on crutches, so like he like walks in front of me and like tries to like maneuver himself in between my leg and my crutches. I just no for me.
It's a hazard.
No, yeah, and he's so hyper, so like it's just no.
Not a good idea.
No, it was not.
Somebody else walk him for a while.
Yeah,
teach him to sit, puppy.
I've got multiple fractures.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
a special one.
I was gonna ask LindaRose, where do you surf on the East Coast, right? Is it the East Coast?
Yeah, I surf on Scarborough Beach, which is like the surfing beach where I live. All the surfers go there.
I have to
It's
look it up. I've never seen it. Have you ever surfed there, Moondoggy?
I've never surfed there, but I've heard of it.
yeah, it's like everyone goes there because they have
Yeah.
it's a really nice beach too. So like they have a buoy and everything. So like there's the surfers and then there's the swimmers. Like
Do they have
the swimmers have to stay on
lifeguards
one side of the buoy. Swimmers. Yeah.
in the summer?
They have one lifeguard that's always on duty. He's like I'm thinking he like owns it or something because every time we go it's the same exact person every
That's what
single time.
Moondoggy wants
It's
a job as a lifeguard. Maybe they'll hire him.
Well, yeah, anything that'll keep me out at the beach so I can surf, that song Scarborough Fair is in my head now. I can't get it out. Are you going to Scarborough Beach? So
I
anyway,
wouldn't mind a job like that. Oh, in California, it's a little different. There's only lifeguards in the summer, not in the winter. So you're on your own out there, Moondoggy. You're all out there with no lifeguards in the winter. The big well.
yeah, I got my wetsuit on. I'm cool. I'm good. So cool. Very, very fun to be here.
Linda, I'm gonna take you to some of my spots if you ever come out here, Linda.
Yeah, I love surfing and it's one of my favorite things to do. We'll go there at like 6 in the morning and we won't leave till like 3 in the afternoon. So
Yeah.
it's fun.
Yeah, you'll if you go over to the West Coast, you'll love it. You won't want to go back. The
Yeah,
surf's so good out there. Or here,
we
I should
have
say.
Yeah,
we
especially if
either
you're
have
competitive. Surfing can be either really competitive or it could be mellow. It's your choice. But there's a lot of aggressive surfers out there, or out here, I should say.
yeah
It should always be mellow.
yeah where
bless
we
you.
go where Scarborough Beach it's either really 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 good or it's really 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 bad waves. Like there's no in between at all.
It's
So
either
like
flat or it's big.
Yeah, or it's just they crash too early, so you can't get a good ride on it because they just crash and then you're
Yeah, they dump like dumping waves. Yeah, those are no fun.
yeah they just completely wipe you out and you just have no
Yeah.
control at all.
Moondoggy knows about getting dumped in the waves in the shore break.
Yeah, but one time when I was on the show earlier, I told him about the time that I got flipped over and got a sea urchin spine in my hand.
Oh, that sounds so fun.
Oh, and everybody telling you pee on it. You got to pee on your hand. The acid from your urine will disintegrate the urchin spines. I'm like, I'm not peeing on my hand, dude.
Absolutely not.
No, ain't gonna
That's what they tell
happen.
you to do.
I don't care how long it takes.
No, yeah, sea urchin. Well, you can also try raw onions. I heard in Indonesia they use raw onions because there's a lot of sea urchins over there in Indonesia.
Yeah, I will never ever ever pee on my hand. It's never gonna happen. It will never happen. I'd rather lose my hand than pee on it. Absolutely not. Most unsanitary thing I've ever heard of in my entire life.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Are you
I
afraid of
would do it if
sharks?
I
Well,
was in
hell
that
yeah.
much pain.
Who is it?
Oh
I was
no!
in pain.
Sharks are my favorite sea animal ever. I have a shark obsession. I don't know what it is. When we went to
Really?
Atlanta Aquarium, I love sharks. Oh my goodness, I love sharks so much. And my favorite shark is a hammerhead shark, which is like one of the most aggressive sharks out there. And I don't know why I'm in love with them. I love them so much. They're
They're
amazing.
cool. They're so
I do
unique
have a shark
looking.
obsession.
They are cool.
It's so bad. It's
They're
Yeah,
cool.
what's
They
to worry
swim
about?
different.
I
Just
love
punch
sharks.
him in the
The
nose. Just punch him in the nose.
hammerheads move. They swim together like this. They are really cool. They're very different. They're interesting to look at, and they're interesting to watch how they swim. They swim a little different because they're so long, and then their head's so big, so they move like in this crazy motion.
Yeah, I love sharks, so it's definitely
Shark Week.
I I need sharks. Like if sharks didn't exist, I'd be heartbroken. They're like the best thing ever. And I mean, I'm not scared of them though because they don't necessarily mean to attack you. Because when you're on the
Unless you're
surfboard, you're like a
hungry.
sea turtle to them. When you're on the surfboard, you look like a turtle, and that's what they eat. So, or when you're swimming and they feel threatened, unless you're the megalodon, then I don't know about that. But I don't know how well it handles that. But that's that problem, and they're extinct. So there's people trying. If you go on TikTok, there's people trying to like say that the megalodon still is alive today. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Let's not start that, please. It's been
Well,
extinct for a really long time.
off of Madagascar, they catch, million-year-old fish, the coelacanth.
I love sharks, but not 100 and something foot one. Absolutely. I would
Yeah, I mean,
not go in the
it's
water
possible.
again. No, just a no. It's a no.
What kind of sharks do they have out there by you? Like in that spot, like that coast over there.
I mean, we've had some coming up on the shoreline more often and coming up super close. Most of those have been like tiny great whites, like maybe like really young ones because they're not definitely not fully grown at all. So I don't. It's just they're okay. First of all, the sharks are getting way too ballsy out here right now. like there's gonna
Summertime.
be yeah. It's just they've never come this close before, so they're just getting super like they're getting super comfortable with coming up really close. So a lot of beaches, like some beaches have closed because of it. So they're getting super comfortable, which is not a good thing.
Yeah, we've
Yeah,
had a few great white spottings this summer over by the pier. They like the pier. They like the piers. They hang out by the piers.
Yeah, that's been a big one too. We had one that for literally the weird like if you were gonna be a shark, you'd want to go where people are, right? Like you'd want to like if you were a shark and you're hungry, you're gonna go where like alive people are, or you're gonna go to like a populated area. No, our sharks aren't going to populated areas. They're going to dead areas, which is ridiculous. It's if I was a shark, I'd want to go where the people are. I mean, like I love people.
They don't generally like the taste of people.
We're not their only food source,
They just bite and then
yeah,
they
have seals and sea turtles, but I mean, I wouldn't want to be alone. I hate being alone.
I always feel safe when I see dolphins. The dolphins make me feel safe.
Yeah, the colder waters of the Atlantic, you're going to get, like you said, great white. You're going to get tiger shark. You're going to get hammerhead. Nurse sharks are probably very prevalent in certain areas.
Yeah, I love sharks. I want to go shark. Yeah, I want to go shark diving so bad. I love sharks. They're amazing. Very interesting animals. They're also one of the most hated animals in the world, which makes no sense at all. They're so misunderstood. So misunderstood. I don't get it.
That's
Along
true.
with snakes.
That's true. If we didn't have sharks, we would have a what do you call those? Those the squids that they're called the Humboldt squid. The Humboldt squid have been known to kill people because they do this they've done it to divers' faces and stuff. So if we didn't have sharks, we would have an invasion of Humboldt squid. And that would be a nightmare. I'd rather be around a shark than a Humboldt squid.
Beaches would
Do
not
this.
Yeah. I think snakes and sharks are the most misunderstood like reptiles and sea animals in the entire world because they're literally the most amazing thing ever. So my dad's also
you like snakes too.
Yeah, my dad's also deathly afraid of snakes. Like we were playing baseball in my aunt's backyard one time and a frog jumped out. That made him jump a little bit, but it was like nothing. And then he saw a snake and he ran inside. My dad is deathly afraid of snakes. Like he absolutely hates them and I love them. It's not a great dynamic because I have been trying to get a snake for so long because I want one so bad, and my dad hates the thought of snakes. Like he is deathly terrified. Like it's ridiculous.
He's like Indiana Jones.
He hates snakes. It's so bad, and he thinks anything without legs or arms should be able to move on land. I don't get it, but
they're creepy.
I'm
not a big fan. They're creepy.
On my photography account on Instagram, we went to the Georgia Zoo, and they had the most gorgeous snakes. That I was so excited. I was so happy. I was so excited. It
What's
was
your favorite
definitely a
snake?
highlight. Oh, I don't know actually. I like boa constrictors because of how big they are.
Yeah.
They're also, a lot of people don't think this. I think this just because I'm a past scientists and stuff and listening to it. They're one of the most like they're like one of the most least dangerous snakes because they don't bite to kill you. They wrap around you instead. So it's, in my opinion, they're one of the least dangerous ones because they're very unlikely to bite you first.
They crush. Yeah, they have a different technique.
Yeah. I
So
saw a YouTube video where a woman who was talking about how great they were. The thing bit her arm and started wrapping around her like he was going to squeeze her. And her husband is like trying to pull this thing off of her and she's bleeding. And I'm like, oh, yeah, great snake.
I'd rather have like a boa constrictor try to like kill me by squeezing me than having a venomous snake bite me.
Yeah.
Much rather have that.
Yeah, me
I'd much
too, me
rather
too.
like I much rather have a boa constrictor that will try to wrap around me than a snake that doesn't do that. That will just bite me.
But again, I had never heard of a boa constrictor biting somebody, and this one did, and wrapped around her. It did both. And
It's
I was like,
very
okay, it's no venom, but man, she's bleeding.
yeah,
Get it off her.
Yeah, it's so uncommon just because that's not their first.
Yeah, so that was kind of weird.
But yeah, I love snakes. Oh my goodness, I want one so bad, but my dad's way too terrified. Like
They're kind of
Well,
stinky.
I have a question. I don't know if when I was having sound issues at the beginning, it seems a little better now. Did anyone get a chance to ask you how you met Lily May and how you started the Orchid Times with her? Because that's my dying question.
okay, yeah. Well, was the one that like brought the idea to me, and I loved the idea of like having a show. I've always wanted to be like, I was like one of those little kids that always wanted to have like a YouTube channel and everything like that. So like, I was super excited to get the opportunity, and so me and Lily, I met Lily May on FaceTime that like literally like the second day of knowing, and we got our pitch, our show idea, and everything done in 48 hours, and we pitched it like the second day of getting it ready. And me and Lily May, like when we were talking on the phone, we immediately knew, like we both like immediately know what we wanted it to be about. And it was just like this instant connection between us about like we instantly knew what we wanted the show to be about, how we wanted it to go, how we wanted it to run. And it was just this like instant connection. It was so amazing, especially since we agree on so many things. Like I don't think me and Lily have ever had like a disagreement at all. Like we always like agree on something. Like one of us will come up with an idea and the other one immediately loves it. So it's like it's just amazing. And it was the one that introduced us. So we met through the show of trying to get us a show and the pitch and everything. It was amazing. And Lily May is like, cannot imagine anyone else being a co-host with me on Orchid Times because she's just so amazing. And we've both grown so much since the first episode. So I couldn't imagine anybody else co-hosting with me because she's just insanely talented.
And you guys never met in person yet.
No, we have not met in person yet.
Oh my goodness. And you guys get along so great. That's awesome. That is amazing.
Yeah, we're gonna make it happen soon because we have to make it happen. It just has to.
Got to get out to Vegas.
You guys are the same age. Yes, Vegas.
If I go to Vegas to meet Lily, my dad will like push his way to come. He'll go stay at a hotel and he'll go like, do his thing.
Well, tell him you got to stay at the Mandalay because the Mandalay has the Shark Reef. You have to go to the Shark Reef at Mandalay Bay.
Yeah, I have like I have like a list in one of my notebooks of like everywhere I want to visit that has sharks. Like I want to go shark. I've always wanted to go shark diving. Big thing I've always wanted to do. I have an obsession
I hope
with
it's
so
still
many
there. I haven't been there, and I went there one time. It was so cool. It's like you walk through a tunnel, and it's like you're underwater because it's like an underwater, like the aquarium is above you. then you see the sharks swimming all around. You would love it. You would. I don't hope it's still there. I don't even know. I've been there. I was there
Yeah,
like
they have
gosh,
that at SeaWorld
ago.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, but
we
the
were,
Mandalay Bay is cool because you feel like you're underneath them. They're swimming like on top of you.
Right.
It's cool.
yeah, Atlanta Aquarium had something like that.
Yeah.
But it didn't have as many sharks in it. Didn't really have a lot. It had a whale shark in it. That was it. It's really
Whale
disappointing.
shark. Those are probably my favorite. I think that's
Those
probably my
they are huge too.
So they only had like one big shark.
Yeah, I was like,
Hey,
it doesn't look like
There's a
anything
whale
else.
shark.
I
Oh,
want
hey, there's a whale shark. Oh, it's the same
There
whale
he goes
shark.
again.
I want to see a basking shark in real life so bad. Oh my gosh, they are the coolest sharks ever. And they're the ones like the big open mouth, and they don't close their mouth. That's how they live. That's how they're made. And I want to see one so bad because they're huge and they're cool looking.
The ones with
I
like
love
this
saw
the
sharks,
saw
too.
thing coming out of their nose, the big saw coming out of their, is that a shark or is that just a fish?
It's called a swordfish, so I'm gonna go with it's a fish. I
Oh
caught
no. Swordfish has just got the pointy nose, but this has got like a saw, like there's teeth coming out the side.
Well, a soft.
I don't know what that
sawfish-
is, but that's the one shark I do not want to meet. If it has a saw,
Usually they keep them in tanks with sharks, so I wondered if it was a shark.
absolutely. If I ever see one of those, that is the one shark I do not want to come in contact with. That sounds terrifying.
I don't want to be in contact with any sharks.
Hammerhead sharks are so. I love hammerhead sharks, which is really weird because they're like the most like aggressive shark, and I don't know why I love them so much.
I saw one up close. I was fishing, deep sea fishing, and that's actually with my dad. And it was overcast, and the sharks were hitting all the fish that people were trying to pull up, so they were just pulling up heads, And they hooked one, and they knew it was a shark because he was circling. So the guy that was actually running the boat had to grab the rod and run around the boat a couple of times before he could get him up to the bow. And it was amazing. I mean, the thing was huge. And like you say, very aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy cut his toe trying to pull up. What he wanted was the 10-pound sinker that was on the line. And then he cut the line under the sinker and let the shark go. So it was pretty cool. I was pretty young at the time, actually.
They like are super aggressive sharks, but they're so pretty. They're gorgeous sharks. They're
different looking. They
Yeah,
look like an alien shark.
And in my opinion, they're one of the sharks that have like the most reasonable name. Like a hammerhead shark, they literally look like a hammer.
It's a hammerhead. It is.
Exactly. Literally perfect name in the entire world. Like whoever named them really was really smart.
Spot on.
Yeah.
And LindaRose, if you could tell our audience, what if there was one thing you really want our audience to know about you, what would that be? Other than to follow you on Orchid Times show every Wednesday, right?
Follow on Orchid Times on Facebook. I've talked about so many things. It's hard. I mean, the biggest thing that a lot of people, I have a disorder, which is called PANDAS, which is pediatric autoimmune neurological disorder associated with streptococcal. Basically, I had strep so much that it inserted itself into my bloodstream, and now I have a swelling on my brain. So so many people hate when people know about it. I mean, I'm not a fan when people know about it, but so many people people have like a standard, like if they look at me and they don't know I have a disorder, and and then when they find out I have a disorder, they're all surprised and everything. And it's like no one ever expects it. And my disorder, as much as I'm not a fan of having it, it's part of who I am. And I can't get rid of it. And if I can't get rid of it, I might as well embrace it. So, I mean, as much as it's giving me so much
I think it's similar from an effect caused from Lyme disease as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it comes from so many things. Luckily I have this is not really bad. I have a pretty good case of it, but like in a good way. Like I got very lucky with my case. Because there's so
early
many kids
diagnosis.
Yeah, there's so many kids that struggle with it so like so much. And there's like so many kids that have gone, like I had to go to a child unit because it just became too much for my dad, like for everybody. And I've had to go to the ER a few times, but like it's this thing. I've dealt with it and I've learned how to control it, and not control it really, but like control like
Work
my
through it.
like suppress it in a way, in a healthy way, so that once like if I have it gave me a lot of anxiety and started giving me panic attacks and anxiety attacks, and gave me a major case of depression and anxiety and stuff like that. So I started to like figure out how I could deal with it if it happened at school, how I could like suppress it until I got home in a way, so that it wasn't so visible, because that's the one place I hate when people know I have it, because they treat you different. When people find out you have a disorder, they if they were mean to you before, they are not mean to you after. They become this whole new person to you, which I mean, you shouldn't bully people anyways, but if you're going to change only because there is something, only because I have a swelling on my brain, that I hate that so much, because there's no reason. I'm not a different person. I didn't
Right.
control, like, want this to happen to me, and they've just become this whole new person to me just because I have a disorder, which is so ridiculous, because if they're going to treat me differently just because I have a disorder, but they're going to treat someone who doesn't have a disorder or a disease, um, they're going to treat them like they're like that they mean nothing. That really messes with a person, especially seeing like people that treat me differently just because I have this disorder, and then treat another person that doesn't have a disorder like crap. That makes me so angry, because there's no reason that they should be treated differently, which means they just, when they treat me like that, that shows me that they're just treating me like that because they feel sorry for me, which I hate, because there's no reason you should feel sorry for me, because I've learned to accept my disorder. So there's no reason everybody else shouldn't accept it, because I've accepted it. So everyone around me, even if they don't accept it, should not show me that they don't accept it. You should like treat me the same. So I guess that's the one thing, just because everyone should
Yeah,
be
I
treated
mean,
equally, no matter if you have a disorder or not. That's just how it
I
should
would
be.
never know from looking at you or talking to you that, anything. So, I mean, it's obviously people aren't going to know that unless you tell them, I guess.
Yeah, it's mine's in my brain. It's an internal thing. Like you can't see it from the
Mhm.
outside unless I'm in the middle of a panic
Right.
attack or anxiety attack and I'm visibly shaking. That's it. Like it's
Yeah.
just, there's no reason that anyone should be treated differently just because they have a little imperfection. Because everyone has imperfections. Everyone has at least a little bit of anxiety. Everyone has it. That's just,
Yeah.
anxiety is in everyone. It's just some of it just appears more in some people.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
was going to ask, is that what it does to you? I mean, does it give you like headaches and anxiety, or I mean,
When we first started, I mean, when we call them episodes, in
uh,
my pandas, I black out in anger, and I remember very little of what happened. And I've gone from having a panic attack and feeling like I cannot move at all to having 12 hours of just pure anger. And it's so much, because I can get, when I first had it, I could get violent, which was the main thing, is why like my dad, like, which is the main thing why I had to be sent to a child unit, just because that was the most safest thing for me. And that was like 3 years ago, I think, is when that happened. And we went through like maybe 10 or 11 different med combinations. I've gone through like maybe 15 different medications, and we just now found something that works. But at the same time, going through all those med changes and everything made me super sick, made me I was
Hmm.
like, I was always sick. I never felt good. I had like my stomach, I had inflammation. It was going through all those med changes really messed with my body so much. And I think that's the one thing people don't realize, is that what there may be a med that works for other people, but it's not going to work for some other people. Like
right.
one
That's
med will
right.
work for somebody, but not somebody else. And my disorder is very unknown in the medical industry. I've actually gone to the ER one time, um, because it was just we had to go to the ER, and a doctor legitimately told me it was not a thing, which made my dad so angry because it's only like my disorder was only found like 30 years ago, and it's like I've been told that it is not a thing, which is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Because if you look it up, it literally tells you what it is. I was also diagnosed with it, so like you can't tell me it's not a thing.
Well, you're a quack. Yeah, that's what you tell them.
Right? Like I
Second opinion.
Well,
you can't tell me
thank you for sharing that story with us. This is a new audience here, so maybe you'll get some new viewers on Orchid Times. When is the show starting back up again?
We're starting back up. We're just now booking more interviews. I think we're starting back up, and we're only on a 2-month break. So I think we're starting back up in a month, almost.
Okay, awesome.
3.5 weeks.
Everybody follow LindaRose on Orchid Times on Facebook group page and YouTube, right? And
yes,
we're gonna post your links. If it's not already there, we'll post the links. And I have 2 more questions for you before we all have to go. Number 1, what are your favorite comfort foods? And 2, family traditions. Any favorite family traditions that you want to cherish?
Favorite comfort foods. I love food. Food is one of my favorite things in the entire world. Definitely would have to be mac and cheese. Absolutely mac and cheese. Love mac and cheese.
Love mac
and cheese, absolutely comfort food. I eat mac and cheese
hot dogs with mushrooms with bacon bits. I love it.
Exclude the mushrooms from my mac and cheese, and we'll be good. And then favorite family tradition is, what's a hard one? For anybody that doesn't know, I'm part Polish. So probably, it's not really a family tradition, but my babci makes pierogies, and only women in the family.
Say that again, babci? How do you say it? I love that.
Babci. It's Polish for grandma.
I love that.
My babci, her pierogies, only women. She's amazing. Only women are allowed to have the pierogi recipe, and I can't have it until I'm 18. She protects that pierogi recipe so much because it is so good. Like, those are the best pierogies you will ever eat in your entire life, and she protects that recipe with her life. Oh my goodness, she's an interesting human being. Like, when I had Christmas there last year, she like hated my shorts that I was wearing. She hated them.
She's old fashioned. She sounds old fashioned, traditional. She has traditional.
She likes when shorts are like below the knee. Like she's very.
So she refused to give you pierogies?
No. My dad's 40 years old. Okay, she puts food in front of my dad and tells him he's a growing boy and he needs to eat. My dad's.
Yeah,
I don't think my dad's growing.
But he's afraid of snakes.
I mean, yeah, my dad is afraid of snakes. Maybe he is still growing, but yeah, apparently he's still growing. He's a growing boy and he needs to eat, I guess. And I'm a growing girl and I need to eat. So that's how that goes there. So she will put food in front of you without asking if you want any and tells you to eat it. So she thinks food is very important in my family. So I guess the pierogi recipe is probably my favorite just because it's hilarious. Because my dad has tried to get that recipe. I don't know. I don't have the recipe. I can't I don't even know
what kind of, is there like peppers and onions, or is it just like pierogies filled with potatoes and cheese?
I don't even know. Like, she just like, I'll see her in she like has this thing where like if she's cooking her pierogies in the kitchen, you cannot go in there. Like, she used to have her space to cook it. My dad has tried and tried to get that recipe, and she refuses to give it to him. So
she'll hit you with a cooking spoon.
Literally, like she protects that recipe.
Sounds so cute. Say it again, babci.
Babci.
Oh, she sounds so cute.
She's amazing. Babci. She's very tiny too. Like, she's a very tiny woman. I'm so tall next to her. It's ridiculous.
But obviously ferocious if she can keep you all out of the kitchen.
Yeah, she is. She's very, very like stern. Like, if she does not want you in the kitchen, you do not go in the kitchen. Like, that's just how she is.
Don't give out her address, because Moondoggy might be over there looking for some pierogies.
Some pierogies.
He likes to couch surf, Moondoggy.
I like
Yeah.
me some pierogies.
Yeah, her pierogies are so good. Also, she's like 83. Like, and she still cooks and does everything. Like, she's amazing. I love her so much.
Wow.
It's like my
Well,
best
shout
friend.
out to
She's
Bobsky. I love you already, and I just heard hearing about you.
yes, Bob. Yes, Bob. She is.
Love that.
But shout out to Bob because she is amazing.
Well, I hope to have you on the show again soon. And Moondoggy, I would love to have you back soon if you guys will be my guest again. Thank you for letting us to get to know you and your comfort foods and your family traditions and all the wonderful things you do. And kiss some puppies for me, please.
I will.
Kiss some old dogs for me and puppies. Any cute ones that need love.
All of them need love. All of them are cute. Except we did have a dog named Zeus that was not the cutest looking dog. He's kind of ugly looking. He was kind of ugly looking, but he was the sweetest thing. He wasn't the prettiest dog. He just.
Well, thank you so much
But
for coming
still
on the show.
lovable.
We're running out of time. But I love you both. I love you on the show. Come again, please. And everybody follow LindaRose on Orchid Times. Coming up, the new season. You're going to meet amazing guests. You're going to get to know LindaRose and Lily May up and close every Wednesday. At what time is it?
7 p.m. Eastern time.
7 p.m. Eastern time. I'll see y'all there. And next week on No Icing with Dritta. Coming back next week for some more surprise guests and amazing guests like we have today. And thank you for being my youngest guest on my show. I love you.
I love you too. You're amazing.